Welcome to NFE Discoveries. In this content, we are going to talk about Bono Manso, the origin of all the Akan states in Ghana. I'm sure you have heard so many things about Bono Manso. You have heard so many things about the people of Bono. In this video, you're going to know more about the ancient Bono Manso. Bono Manso. It is an ancient town in Ghana. It existed since 1295. That will be in the ending part of the 12th century. If you happen to know the history of the Kingdom of Ghana, which came into existence around the 10th century, it is known by historians that the Bono State is the beginning of the Akan ethnic groups when they came to Ghana and they all settled at Bono Manso. The Ashanti, the Akwamu, the Akyem, the Fante, the Bono, the Ahafo, and others are all thought to have their original settlement at Bono Manso. They also believe that they came from a town in the Bono East region by the name Yefri and came to settle at Bono Manso. Bono Manso was the capital of the Bono Kingdom because of its size. It was having 177 street names. Because of how big the kingdom was, it attracted most people to the kingdom. Techiman, Nkranza, Sunyane, German, and all the big towns that can be found in Bono and its environment were nowhere to be found then. The ancestral home of Techiman is Bono Manso. Bono Manso was an ancient capital just like the Ashanti Empire. The Bono Manso then have the biggest market in the Bono Kingdom, and it was also one of the biggest markets in the Kingdom of Ghana. The market attracted businesses, and it was an international trading market where people from all over Africa, but specifically West and Central Africa, engaged themselves. I must say it was a global market center. People from Niger, Mali, Togo, Burkina Faso, Cote d'Ivoire, Benin, Nigeria, and some part of Central Africa to engage themselves in this marketplace. The common items that were being sold at this market was maize, kola nut, groundnut, the normal foodstuffs. These were the common items that they trade in. In the 15th and 16th century, where slave trade started in Ghana, Bono Manso played a vital role in slave trade in Ghana because of how big the community was. And it was a channel through which people migrate from the northern part of Ghana to the southern part. I must say, it was the center of Ghana where all paths and road was channeled, as currently as how Kumasi has been developed. Due to how big the place was and its market, slave masters started engaging themselves in the area. The Bono Manso kingdom never allowed slave trade in its kingdom, but the slave masters were able to lure the king where all slaves from northern part or all places that was being transferred or taken to the southern part. They had a normal communication, which it got to a point that this place was a resting point for them. The Kunsu slave center, the Saliga slave center, which was a slave trade from the northern part, they all rest at Bono Manso. So the Bono Manso was a resting point for slaves. They never had a slave center or traded slaves there. The place where slaves rest at the Bono Manso market was called Jabrim. At this particular place, there was a big tree over there where all slaves from the country or wherever they are and they are going to the southern part. It is believed that from here they move straight to the Asin Manso, that's the coastal area. Then those who are strong enough will be going to wherever they were going, the America, the Latino, and wherever they were going. As time went by, The slave masters then plead to the chief of then Asian Bono State, Nana Brimpong Katechie, that slaves who were not strong will stay in their kingdom, and if in case they were many, they will keep them and come for them at another time. At this point, they have persuaded the king in a way that they will be keeping their slaves at the resting point so that they will come and have them at another time. In the Jobrim, there were chains under the tree people have been stealing, so now it has been taken to the palace. Meaning currently, if it comes to the Bono Manso or happens to be at this big tree where the slave rests at the Jobrim, you are not going to find the chains and other stuff that they were using to keep slaves, or when they are resting at that particular moment, you won't see it anymore. The Bono Manso was a halfway if only the slaves were taken to abroad or Europe. From Bono Manso, they moved to Akan Manso, as I said already. At Bono Manso, slaves who were carried out were the strong ones. The weaker ones then settled at Bono Manso. The slave masters at times gave the weak slaves to the chief. It got to some point where you will see slaves around the palace, or they will be moving around Bono Manso, but they were not coming from the royal clan of the Bono Manso. These were people that they were not strong enough to continue their journey, and the slave masters gave them to Nana Brimpong Katechie. The Bono Manso was never a slave trading center, but a resting point for the business owners and the slaves. They could stay there for days and continue their journey. At that time, that big trees provide more shade for the slaves, and it was so big enough that it accommodated a lot of people around. Sitting there provides shades, and it also people rest at that place. There were some big stones and others around where they sit around, then continued their journey. As the word keep evolving, the spelling of Bono Manso have been changed to Bono Manso. Our leaders and historians used to say Bono Awowo, the first of its kind. Bono are the first to settle in Ghana among the Akans. We can't talk about this transatlantic slave trade in Ghana without talking about this resting point at Bono Manso. In fact, it has played a pivotal role in our slave history. As we have always been doing, this is a community map we did for the people of Bono Manso. Please, if you are new to this channel, make sure you subscribe, like, comment, and click on the clang. Peace and love unto us all. Shalom.